Ireland World Cup, but this one is a good story for Ireland. Beers are ready, game is ready. Let me know when you guys are in, and yeah, we'll get the game cracking in a few minutes. I see Craig has been here. He says, was this another one of those World Cups where Ireland didn't make it out of the group stages or didn't make it past the quarterfinals? Shots fired from Craig, for sure. Craig is a proud Scotsman, so he's also had his heart broken at Rugby World Cup times. But yeah. Link is in the description if you want to get the game set up. Whoa, I just got a flood of messages. Sam is here. Hello, Sam. How's it going? Let's have a look. Big Will is here. Kia ora, bro. Novmum is here. How is it going? Ducks Quack. Hello. Kobe. Ruben. Big Will says, I do remember this game. It's another reason I chose this game, man, is because I was at this game. I don't know that I've seen it on TV other than the immediate replay they had the same day. So last time I watched this was probably 2011. But yeah. Daramundi, how are you, sir? Nice food takeaways. I got 2 Budweisers left. I should have got Guinness for this game, really, but 2 Budweisers left. So there we go. But yeah, I was at this game. Believe it or not, I went with my Aussie mate. So yeah, he was pretty heartbroken. And this one, no, he wasn't heartbroken. He was angry. He was real angry, actually, after this game. So, yeah, he was kind of annoyed at the refs. From memory, though, was this when the choke tackling thing was new? Because he was really annoyed about that. And Irish guys giving him lots of SHIT around town because he was wearing Wallabies gear. He didn't appreciate that. But also, I think all the Kiwis were essentially Irish that night as well. Big Will's on his last 9 Corona, so he should make it. Right. Kickoff is at 10:08. Well, why don't we start now then? Because I started a couple of minutes early. We'll just start. I'll just put it on. I'll do the anthems and whatnot. And then, yeah, we'll see how we go. If it's got a halftime, we'll skip that. But it's an hour and 45, so it probably shouldn't. I guess it's already edited out. So, yeah, link is in the description. Get it ready. And I'm going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you guys need the timestamp later, just sing out and I will let you know where we're up to. But yeah, like I said, I was at this game. So it will be interesting to see it from this perspective. Budweiser, he says, I thought you would have had a beer. Cheeky. That's all right. It's easy to drink, but maybe is that because people say it's watery? Is that why it's so easy to drink? Right, I'm underway, and they're doing a bit of a sales pitch on Auckland here. It's looking pretty nice. Rangitoto, the island, Mission Bay, the fountain, Waitemata Harbour, all the boats. How many did you buy? It was a 12-pack, buddy. So, going through them slowly, but steadily. Eden Park. I'm down that end, I guess. I'm just checking out the crowd because I know there was a lot of Irish support in that game as well. YouTube time, I'm still at 1 minute and 25 seconds because I kind of want to see the lineups and whatnot because it's been a long time since I watched this game. Yeah, the crowd was really good. I do remember that. Oh, yeah. Here come the Wallabies. Watching on the phone, so I can't have both up. We'll have to have better organised for the next one of these. Yeah, true. You probably do need two screens, bro. I've got you guys on the computer, and the game is on the telly. Jeez, there's a few old faces in this one who look a lot younger. To be fair, man, look at James O'Connor. I'm going to see if I can hear it, but I remember from being at this game when James O'Connor lined up shots at goal, people started chanting Bieber, Bieber, because, you know, Justin Bieber, I think, was probably pretty fresh off the scene at that time. I don't know. Good morning, Mark. Did you go to this game, Mark? I was there. Hey, Philip, how's it going? Big Will says huge crowd. Yeah, I remember the atmosphere being really good and really pro-Irish. My Aussie mate was kind of shattered how many Kiwis got behind Ireland. Cracking game this one. Remember going nuts in the Queenstown motel throughout. Nice. Yeah, I was with my Aussie mate. We went for a few drinks after this one from memory, but he was more drowning his sorrows than drinking for joy. What do you use to stream to your TV? Chromecast? Actually, no. I have the game on the laptop, which is connected to the TV via an HDMI cable. So essentially, the TV is like a second screen for my computer. So both of them are going through the computer. The older Pilota now got, the smaller his afro got. Maybe he just can't grow it like he used to, bro. Regards to the previous video, having Ireland and England in the same group doesn't make a lot of sense when they are both the top ranked teams in the world rankings. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're doing it by the current Six Nations standings. That's the only thing that I can get my head around, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, who are the teams that have won the Six Nations in the last 10 years? Probably those three teams in the same pool, right? Mark says, yes, I was at the World Cup for this match and the quarter-final defeat to Wales. Still in shock over that. Oh, man. I didn't know you back in 2011. But I was sitting down one end behind the posts, essentially. A few Wallabies fans there. Quite a few. I remember this game for the crowd cheering for Ireland hard in this game. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It was pretty much like a home game for Ireland, I would say. I mean, even me, kind of as a tongue-in-cheek thing, I took an Irish rugby scarf and they had face painting, so I got like a clover painted on my cheek just to rack my mate up. Because Australia were the favourites for this one, so I kind of assumed Australia would win. And then, yeah, he probably didn't appreciate that by full time. Novma, this is when you were starting to get into rugby. Oh, nice. I was actually living in China during this World Cup, but I came back just for the World Cup. I went to like 5 or 6 games. I left before the end of the pool stages, right before the end of the pool stages, I think. Oh, Radiki Samo, man. Will Guinea hasn't changed that much. Interesting, yeah, it's been 9 years, but a lot of those guys are still out and about, eh? Must have been a fairly young Wallabies squad in terms of the average age. I wonder if this is before Brian O'Driscoll started singing this. Oh no, he is singing it. He mentioned he never used to sing it. I think he said his mum gave him grief about not singing it. This is our best Rugby World Cup performance in my opinion. Maybe Stephen Ferris's best game yet. What a player. Oh man, there's Andrew Trimble. Far out. Okay, still a few guys here. Ken Healy's still there. Rob Carney's still there. A lot of guys. Man, look how young Sexton looks. Goodness me. Mark says, "Go Ireland, go." I'll drink to that, man. Cheers, buddy. I have to get something Irish next time instead of Budweiser. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I hope you're well over in the States. You must be living the life of a night owl with how often you come onto these streams in the middle of the night over there. One thing I love about the World Cups is there's no logos on the jerseys. True. True. I know some people aren't a big fan of this big red blob here. Look at Sexton's boy band haircut. Yeah, man, I guess he was still relatively fresh in this one. I mean, still, I think he'd already kind of secured his starting spot as Ireland's 10, right? O'Connell's a unit. Yeah, he's not a guy that you would like to get into any kind of battle with. Oh yeah, there we go. Nisbo just said Sexton's relegated O'Gara to the bench. Bit of a delay between the end of the anthems and I guess they got to get their jackets off and whatnot. Grant, what's up, man? You've really started something, Grant, with all your talk of that Taiwanese beer. Honestly, it comes up every chat now. The talk of a long dong. I've inquired with a company here in New Zealand as to whether they can import it for me, but they have not to reply after about a week. If you're curious, I'm at 9:30 on the YouTube stream, so the players are still milling about, getting ready to kick off, but it's been quite a while since the anthem's finished. They're all having a yarn, I guess. Oh man, is that Bryce Lawrence? Grant, you mentioned it once, but once was enough. Once was enough. O'Gara greater than Sexton. One of the guys on Patreon sent me O'Gara's documentary, and it's pretty cool if you guys want to go watch it, man. It's on YouTube. Like all about his career and coming through the ranks. Kickoff, by the way, we've just started. Oh, foot and touch? Ooh, bad mistake from Ireland earlier. I don't remember that. I think this is the World Cup when I started to get into rugby, following the Reds at Super Rugby, but wouldn't be until the next World Cup got into Super Rugby. Yeah. Developed over time, man. Yeah, this was a pretty stacked Wallabies team. I'm surprised. I mean, this is back when Robbie Deans was coaching them, so... Might have caught in their email spam filter, that's true. They did used to sell the long dong, that's why I asked them, but it says out of stock. Ooh. Penalty. Jeez, that's handbags early, man. Ribsy says, "Oh, this game." Sorry, Ribsy, man. I got a recent bug in my mind for watching games that I was at. So, yes, I was at this game. I was sitting, as you're watching this game, I'm sitting on the right hand side, behind the sticks in a kind of cheapish seat. And my Aussie mate came over kind of last minute, so he had to buy a fairly expensive seat because I'd already booked my tickets long before him. He only came over as a real last minute decision. So he's sitting on the side of the ground facing the like that we can see that stadium, that stand, you know, that the camera is facing. So we were sitting separately for this one, which was a bit weird. Leo, how's it going? Darren says Munster or Leinster. I got him. Mark sent me my first ever Northern Hemisphere jersey, and it was a Leinster one. So there you go. But I've got plenty of Munster gear here as well. Game clock time. I'm at game clock. It's not on the screen at the minute. YouTube clock's at 12:45. O'Driscoll's just knocked it on. What was the Irish ranking in 2011? I'm not sure, man. I'm pretty sure they were below Australia, though. Sean O'Brien, man. But yeah, basically, my mate was sitting on the stand directly to my right, and I had a camera with a bit of zoom, and I've eventually found him amongst all the crowd, and I was just watching his face just get angrier and angrier throughout this game. He was actually, from what he told me, he was getting angry at the other Wallabies fans around him for being too quiet. He was yelling at them to start cheering the team on because they were just sitting there. It's kind of weird seeing a high quality Wallabies side compared to the current one. This side is pretty stacked, man. I mean, the Irish side is as well. But man, it's a pretty bloody good looking Wallabies team. Grant says, my days off changed. I used to have Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. Now it's Sundays and Mondays. That's why I'm here. I'm at work. They let you watch YouTube at work? Have you sat in every seat at Eden Park? Nah, probably not quite. Not quite. That'd be quite a mission, though. Australia second, Ireland sixth. Wow. Okay, that's good to know, man. Because I remember this being a pretty decent upset. Like, Australia were definitely favourites, and now I can see why. What's the time there? It's almost 11 in South Africa. It is 8:49, so it's almost 9 o'clock, bro, in the evening. Aussie have got a scrum. Cooper's bumping off people. He's having a run, and he's knocked it on. Man, it must have been greasy because there's been a few knock-ons so far. Grant's got 13 YouTube tabs open. Goodness me. Well, they're going to go speak to the touch judge. Is this before they had the headsets? Is this back when you had to go over and manually talk to a human being? Surely not. God, this is comical. This is comical, the conversation between the touchy and the ref. Is that a penalty against Carney? For a high one on Beale. Yep, that's probably a yellow card now. Beale went down pretty heavily, like he'd been shot. A lot of doubt whether the Springboks will be able to join the Rugby Championship this year because we'll be extremely underdone. What's the 2 cents on the matter? If they really want the Springboks over here, we need to get them in early and get them to play some rugby, like a tour almost, man. Get them to play some Mitre 10 Cup teams or something after they've finished their isolation. Give them time to get fitness, but that means more costs. That means more time away from their families, so the logistics might be a killer. How old is Curtly Beale? He seems to have been around forever. Yeah, he's one of those guys who came onto the scene pretty young. Like James O'Connor, I remember this is 9 years ago. He's just turned 30. So, yeah, young. Hey, Jordan, on the YouTube clock, we are at 17 minutes and 10 seconds. Jock's lining up a penalty, but I can't hear the Bieber chant. But I'm essentially probably right behind those posts as he lines up the kick. I'm in that section of the stand there. Remember this pool we used Samo on the wing against Russia? True. Beale's only 31, man. I didn't realize he was pretty much the same age as Jock, but I guess that makes sense. R.I.P. Andy Hayden. Yeah, I heard he passed away. That's pretty sad. My dad's pretty gutted. Is Foley still in New South Wales? Nah, he left at the end of. Whoa, what a take from Beale. He just ran right over, can't he? Yeah, he left after the World Cup. That was his last season with the Tars. James O'Connor started at 17 or 18. I think Beale started 18 or 19. Yeah, they both started really young. And both got themselves into a fair bit of trouble early on, actually. Just like off the field trouble. Logistics going to be a nightmare. Ninoba says he would take a squad of 45 at a minimum. Has the New Zealand government said anything? Nah. Nah, the New Zealand government... I think the New Zealand government at the moment's under a bit of heat for all the people returning to the country. Like a load of expat New Zealanders are rushing back to get to New Zealand because they've lost their jobs overseas or because New Zealand's pretty COVID free. So the government's under a ton of pressure already housing all the expat Kiwis coming back. So I think they don't want to be talking about having foreign rugby players coming in for the moment. Man, what a take from Beale. Not many people do that to Rob Kearney. Cameron, 10 in the morning watching you drink beer is a weird one. Well, if it makes it any better, it's almost 10 o'clock. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock over here. It's definitely beer o'clock. And if it's 10 o'clock, that's not too far from beer o'clock. You can get away with one at 11, that's for sure. Ooh, scrums come up. Feel bad for the people with Jews and colorblindness who watch this game. Does that mean they can't distinguish between yellow and green? That'd be tough. I never thought about that. Grant says, I ain't coming back. What happened? What's your opinion of World Rugby wanting to change the substitutes? I see some people saying that's a direct thing against Rassie's bomb squad. But I do think they need to have some kind of changes to ensure fatigue becomes an issue, and substitutes is maybe one of them. But also stopping the clock for scrum sets and whatnot could also be another way of dealing with it. I feel like Ben McCalman is a seriously underrated player. 100%. He's one of my favourites. He was always in my fantasy squad when I played Super Rugby Fantasy because he did a lot of work. Quarantine system is already under strain there. Yeah. Expect Kiwis first. I think the 100th test between South Africa and New Zealand would be Much of a contest because of a situation. True, you do want it to be a big game, eh? Right, I can hear. I was going to say Bieber. O'Connor getting tons of whistles and boos, but he kicked it, and I couldn't hear the Bieber chant, so I guess you had to be there. They're closing the Queensland border as New South Wales and Victoria are pretty bad with COVID. We had a couple of girls from Victoria bring up to Queensland, so there's a bit of worry at the moment. Yeah, it's one of those things where you probably, I mean, I'm no epidemiologist, but you probably need to close the border early because by the time you realize there's a problem, it's already too late. Like, as soon as you get one case, you probably need to be like, oh, damn, let's hold fire. South Africans saying it's directed at the bomb squad dominance. I think we need a big bench regardless due to injury concerns. Yeah, that's why they added the extra prop, right? To prevent injuries at scrum time and reduce golden oldies. So yeah, I don't know if it's through reducing substitutes or better management of the game clock, but there needs to be a way to make sure players are tired. They get a ton of time to rest in the current game with all the standing around they do. Like the ball in play time is like what, 20 minutes or something? Scotland are relatively COVID free. That is definitely a good thing. Scotland, I think, has been a bit more hardline than England, right? What year was it when New Zealand played a game against Aussie without using any subs? Goodness me, I don't know, man. Be a while. Turbo Warrior says, remember this game? Remember a certain Aussie saying we weren't going to have much to cheer about. I wish I saw his face after the game. Who was that? Sounds like he deserved it. My Aussie mate who I was at the game with, his name's Gary. He was quietly confident but still cautious, so he was also very disappointed when they lost. Oh, Scotland can't exactly close the border with England. Yeah, there's a lot of Kiwis who want us to either reduce, close the border, like even to our own Kiwis, they want to close it or make people pay when they come back because Sexton's pushed it wide. He should have been getting that one. Wonder if they'll regret that kick. But yeah, New Zealand at the moment, I think it's free for people returning from overseas to come back. The government pays for their quarantine, essentially. Putting on Bill Beaumont fronting the breakdown. I haven't watched it. I will need to watch it. I did see it on my YouTube feed that he was there, so I'll give it a watch. Cooper's belted it down, as the commentator said. Here goes Sexton. Up and under. This time Carney wins the aerial battle against Beale. That's an interesting little battle, isn't it? Eat some spuds for the stream. Bro, I should have, man. I should have. The last game at Eden Park, the one I didn't go to, the first Aotearoa game up here I didn't go to, is the game they had the bloody free spuds at the end of the game and I didn't go. What a fool I am. It was Fox Sports commentator Phil Kearns. Oh no. He's awful, man. Is he the one who made the spud eating comment when the Irish toured Australia a couple of years ago? Or the twiddly dee potato thing? Was that him? It was one of the Fox Sports guys. Whatever New Zealand is doing to fight COVID is working. Yeah, basically be an island. I think that's number one. And we're isolating people for 14 days. When they come back, What do you call a Safa and a Kiwi walking into a bar at World Cup? What minute am I on? The YouTube clock is at 27 minutes. It's a shot of O'Driscoll. He's wandering around and Sexton's lining up a penalty. I did, Jordan, man. I missed out on a free bag of spuds. For those of you guys out of the loop, the Blues, who's my local Super Rugby team, one home game every season, they give away, because one of their sponsors is a potato manufacturer, farm. They give the fans a free bag of spuds at the end of the game. If you go out a certain gate, there's a big truck full of potatoes, and they just give you a bag. It used to be 10 kgs, then it became 5 kgs, but fancier potatoes. Sexton's kicked that one, second time lucky. It's 3 points apiece. Yeah, and I missed it. I missed the spud game. He was such a sore loser that day. Not surprised. Connor Murray's on the bench. Andrew Trimble's on the bench. Ronan O'Gara's on the bench. Man. Kearnsey wouldn't be clever enough to make that joke. Okay, it was one of the other guys then. Did you see Fab Rugby's controversial rugby team tier? I didn't. What is that? Man, the intensity of this game is pretty high. Would love a bag of potatoes after a home game. Yeah, I mean, the only problem is you have to carry them back somewhere, either on the bus, the train, or to your car. If you know Eden Park, you can't just park next to the stadium. You've got to park quite far away. So you end up lugging a 10 kg bag of potatoes, or 5 kgs, as it was, to your car. But, bro, free potatoes. What can you say? The wife sends you to watch the rugby. You come back with spuds. Can't complain. You missed out on a spud game for a lopsided club game. Exactly. What a stupid decision that was. They can't have advertised the spuds thing very well. They used to make that a real selling point. Get some free spuds. Flesh and house things. I work for a university, as a lot of you guys probably know. That's my day job, and the semester just started this week, so things kind of suck at the moment. So I'm pretty happy to be sitting back, watching some rugby, having a beer, and thinking about myself back in droppy. He's got it. Sexton with a droppy, so Ireland 6-3 in front. Yeah, thinking about myself back in 2011 when I was not married, didn't have kids. I had a girlfriend who's now my wife, but yeah. Yeah, what a time to be alive, eh? Ferris's tackle on Guinea in this match is a classic. Oh, I have to keep it up for man. How young does Sexton look there, bro? Basically a pyramid style diagram. Oh, I did see that, Leo. Bro, it had some ridiculous placements of teams. I wasn't sure when it was made. It had the Blues really high, like second level. And it had some other, like the Sharks, I think, really low. Or somebody else. Like really quite low. Might have been Edinburgh that was low. Oh, it was, yeah, it was silly. Ribsy, yeah. Who did they pick from the Reds in this team? Guinea, Cooper. Who was O'Connor playing at this time? Who was he playing for? Was he playing for the Force? Thoughts on the groupings for the 8-team Six Nations tournament? Yeah, lopsided, bro. You need to swap. I think you need to swap Italy into the other pool. Or it'd be nice to have Wales, England, and Scotland in the same pool, kind of like a home nations pool plus Fiji. That'd be kind of cool. Then you got Ireland, France, Japan, and Italy in the other pool. O'Connell was forced, right? Thank you, Ribsy. That makes sense. Lewis says, I reckon you make one, but more realistic. Edinburgh like second top in Glasgow. Ulster with third bottom. I could give it a crack, but no matter which way you do it, people are going to not be happy with where you put them, eh? Swap Italy and England, says Ruben. Okay, well, that way you get the England France clash, which is always a good one. You can see them using that choke tackle so much, eh? It's going to be another turnover. That was so effective in this game. Beale has become a good wallaby, but he had no business being in this team. Who would have been the fullback then? Wales on current form will be fearing Fiji. I give Wales the benefit of the doubt, seeing as they've got a new coach. I can give Pivac a bit of time. Favorite Wallaby player of all time? Kempese. Battle between him and JK back in the day. Hey, David Pocock's a pretty likable guy. Like, world class rugby player. And just seemingly top bloke. Very well spoken. Does stuff for the environment. So he's pretty likable. Is he my favourite though? I don't know. Going to be a neutral ground. Yeah, they're not using the Millennium A. For some reason, there's no like game clock on my stream. It's just the game footage. They've not put up the graphics of the score or the game clock, which is helpful. So it's at 35 minutes. It's just at 35 minutes on YouTube clock. Wonder whether they don't show the score. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite annoying, actually. I thought everything World Rugby would be official, HD, and everything pretty. No thought of putting South Africa into the Six Nations instead of Japan or Fiji. Yeah, I think there was. There was talks about it, but I guess they wanted to keep the Rugby Championship going. There goes Beale. You guys would like to help me keep track of the score. It is still 6-3 to Ireland, right? It's a drop goal and a penalty against one penalty. If David says he thinks South Africa maybe turned them down. If they'd gone, then the talk of South Africa joining the Six Nations would have gotten even stronger. Oh, Larkham or Mortlock, yeah, true. Those are good players. Pat McCabe in 2011, Shuffle O'Connor back there, Berrick Barnes at 12. Berrick Barnes. Knowing not having the score show. Alright, I can probably put it up actually on here. Give me a tick. Australia. 3. Let's make it green, eh? I think that's the score, isn't it? We'll just make it smaller. Six all. There we go. 6 all. 24 minutes gone. The tackle on Guinea is at 52:30. Okay. We've still got a little while to go then. They didn't use South Africa because they wanted to win. Ooh. Didn't mind Sam Norton Knight. Oh, man. That's true. Who was that Reds guy who also had a pretty good boot on him? I think he was a Kiwi, but lived in Australia for ages. Bro, here goes Cooper. Oh, was that O'Driscoll on the ground? With maybe a wee sneaky hand in there? Has anyone seen the rugby docker called Pacific Warriors? No, I don't think so. I've seen one of Rugby Pass's ones about Rupini Thautau, about that kind of his life and what's he doing after rugby. Seems to be basically living in the village in Fiji. He doesn't have much to show for his big career. Chris Latham. Oh, I'm thinking of a more recent guy that would have been eligible at this time in the World Cup. Oh, no, it wasn't Driscoll. Ten nations would basically be a World Cup. That's also a fair point. Some people don't like Fiji and Japan. Some of the comments on the video the other day was like, you're cheapening the World Cup by having this tournament. Join the discussion on the 8 nations, but as a quick aside, any thoughts on Chiefs Crusaders this weekend? Hoping the Chiefs can get up for that one. As a Blues fan, really hoping the Chiefs can. Chiefs are going to be mad. They've lost so many close games. If they're not fired up for that one, they cannot get fired up. Anthony Fanga, nah. He was I think a midfielder who could play fullback. He kicked a lot of goals. Real radar boot. Played for the Wallabies maybe a couple of times. Missed penalty. O'Connor's missed a couple now. Chiefs by 20, says Big Will. Damn. I'll take that. Do you think Japan and Fiji got the nod for voting Bill Bowman? Well, it's only a one-off competition. So, I don't think so. But the fact that Georgia got omitted ahead of like Fiji and Japan is a bit sad for Georgia, because I think Japan's there partly to capitalize on the rugby fever from the World Cup, but also financially, I'm sure they're a good option. And Fiji, just everyone likes watching Fiji play rugby. What player are we looking for? A Reds player who, from my memory, used to be able to play multiple positions in the back line, but obviously not 9. I feel like he was relatively quick and had a very accurate boot. I assume he was playing for the Reds around about this time. White dude. I think he's born a Kiwi and played for the Wallabies a couple of times. As a Blues fan, hope the Chiefs lose again and again and again. Oh, but it'll be better for us if the Crusaders lose, right? No, not Digby. Oh, man. Let me look it up. 2011 Reds squad. Let me have a look. Is it Michael Harris? Who the hell is Michael Harris? Is it Mike Harris? Did they call him Mike? Is that why I don't recognize the name? Yeah, it's him, right? Yeah, Mike. Nobody calls him Michael. Goodness me. Wait, New Zealand? What? Did he not play for the Wallabies? Okay, my memory is definitely... Oh, New Zealand under 20s. And Australia. Okay. Mike Harris, yeah. Mike Harris played, according to Wikipedia, 44 games for the Reds and 20 for the Rebels. I saw his name was Michael, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. But yeah, Mike Harris. Beale, O'Connor, and Cooper on the park at the same time. How many mad captains did you want? Interesting that Deans chose all those guys to play, hey? Saw a funny meme yesterday where Gatlin was pictured in James Bond stance with 007 written down. Oh, that's smart. Catch any of the rounds of the Pro South American League. They only got like a round or two in before the whole thing was called off, right? I didn't see any. Didn't see any. Oh, scrum penalty. Man, how many of these guys have retired? It feels like not that many. Anyway. It's pretty random, but I just found a snake. Oh, we don't have that problem here in New Zealand. The Premiership. Yeah, that's getting back underway. Pro 14's getting back underway. Everything's getting back underway. Also rewatch classic Super Rugby. I noticed that the Super Rugby YouTube channel started putting a bunch of classic games on, but they're all like abridged versions, which are like 40 minutes long. Like they cut out a lot of stuff. I'm not inclined to watch those ones, to be honest. I know a lot of it's faffing about, but give me the full, like, 2 hour package. Oh man, Sexton's missed one. I can't believe how many kicks these guys missed. I don't remember that. American Consortium offering to buy the Stormers for 100 million rand. That's the first I've heard of it. Mm. Patrick, there's no game clock on the screen for some reason, but the YouTube time is at 46 minutes and 45 seconds. I've had to put the score on the screen because they didn't include it in this stream for some reason. Just to note, Two Dads is in the squad. He was 27. 27 in 2011. Goodness me, Adam Ashley Cooper. That guy played rugby for a long time and is still playing. Who's New Zealand's biggest uncapped talent at the moment? I think most people would probably say Will Jordan, the fullback for the Crusaders, fullback winger. He looks amazing. Amazing. No worries, Patrick. I was at this game, which is the reason why we're watching it. I was mentioning earlier it was a pretty good atmosphere, and all the New Zealand fans were essentially cheering for Ireland. Chips in the air fryer. That sounds like a good plan. I'm trying not to eat so many chips, to be honest. I ate too much during lockdown. Kieran, how are you, sir? Ribsy says if I were this, I'd be cheering for Ireland too, as an Australian. Oh, Hoskins Satutu as well, Big Will. Yes, Hoskins Satutu has been also a bit of a revelation here in Super Rugby. He has been the form number 8 before he got injured. Watch the game where they had the penalty shootout. Who's that between? Is it Leicester? I feel like I've seen it. Or at least the penalty, but I've definitely seen. Have you ever thought about streaming one of the America's Rugby Championship games? I know it's pushing a bit, kind of interesting to watch. Bro, I'll stream virtually whatever. The last 2 games I've just picked for the Wednesdays is just games that I've been at and kind of wanted to watch on TV. But yeah, I'm open to watching anything. Cardiff Blues and Leicester, right. I was actually thinking Cardiff, but I was like, nah, I can't remember both of them, but there we go. Got Rugby Challenge 4 yesterday, and Shannon Frizzell is starting AB at 6. Would he be a shot? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's in great form. Great form. How is Rugby Challenge 4? I heard it sucks. Twitter says it sucks, but Twitter says virtually everything sucks. Squid Rugby said it sucks, and his opinion is probably worth more than most of Twitter's. Although I think he likes Rugby 20 a bit more than I do. Oh, Grant, yes. Yeah, there's the last 2 bottles of Heineken. Budweiser, I'm getting rid of them. If you want to watch the game, brother, we are at 50 minutes and 45 seconds on YouTube's clock. Exeter Chiefs may scrap their Cherokee logo as it caused offence. Fans have petitioned for this to happen. Has the world gone mad? I gotta admit, it's a bit weird that they have that as their logo. I don't know how that became. Like, I know in the NHL there's a team called the Blackhawks who've also got a similar logo, but it kind of makes sense because they're in America. We have a Chiefs team here, which has got a Maori warrior, like a chief. But I don't think that logo in itself is disrespectful, and I am by no means any authority on that because he's kind of like portrayed in a respectful manner, right? I guess there's just not much connection between. It's in Devon, right? Devon and North America. But I think it's that there's that song which people don't like, right? Because it causes offense. I'm not sure, man. I'm very ignorant in these topics, but yes, I wouldn't have thought that logo in itself is offensive. Not like the what's that team? The baseball team, the Cleveland Indians, right? Like that one is probably a pretty bad logo. Oh, Big Will says, for all the South Africans who can't watch live footy and drink beer at the moment, I feel your pain. Cheers, man. Is the beer ban still on in South Africa? Oh man, Guinea just got way dragged back. I think that's what someone was talking about earlier. Goodness me. Will Guinea was just manhandled. He grabbed it. Far out. That's crazy. Yeah, it's the fairest tackle people mentioned earlier. Wow. Still a ban on tobacco and alcohol. Goodness me. Yeah, that's the one good old Stephen Ferris. Man, he must have been. He's taking his angry pills before that one. Devon is a gross processed sandwich sausage in Australia. Maybe they could use that as a logo. That is a first for me. Yeah, Chiefs has a bigger representation of the players from the culture that the logo represents. Yeah, like the Chiefs in New Zealand. I mean, I know about that because I guess I'm from New Zealand, but like a lot of Maori tribes have the connections to the Waikato. Like more, I would say probably maybe more there than anywhere else. Like there's certainly the South Island is pretty sparsely populated in terms of Maori tribes traditionally. It's half time. It's half time. Oh, Grant's in Bahrain. So can you buy liquor? I'm assuming they're going to cut out the halftime break because the total stream's only an hour and 45. Still looking for my mate in the crowd and I can't see him. He'll be the redhead yelling. Didn't Australian Rugby sign a 16-year-old to $1 million contract? Uh, yeah. They have no money, but they have money to buy some rugby league prospect. That's true. I don't know how things are managed over there, honestly. Big Will says he saw my mate. Yep, the angry red-headed Australian guy. That's my mate. Shouting at the players. That's him. The Maori King is from the Waikato. True. Although I think the Kingitanga don't represent all of the Maori tribes, right? Again, bro, I'm not anybody to be teaching anybody about that kind of stuff. My New Zealand geography is bad enough, let alone knowing the details of which Maori tribes are based where and who's affiliated with who. Very poorly informed, which is my own fault, but there you go. I spend too much time watching rugby, drinking beers. What can I say? Most Australian rugby fans aren't sure how the union is run. Yeah, at least I think in New Zealand we've got a decent idea how it's run. They just seem to get a bit big for their boots sometimes. Right, the last Budweiser, people. Any suggestions for what beer I buy next time? Selection in New Zealand is not. Oh, it's another one of those choke tackles. God. Oh, but straight from the kick. Okay, yeah, so it's an Aussie ball. Options in New Zealand for beers are not maybe what they are in some places. I've looked for 4X. I've looked for Great Northern in terms of Aussie beers. Can't find them. None of them took a random drive to Pocono today just because it was over an hour and back. Pocono's got a good ice cream shop. So Ireland won this group and went out in the quarters. That's pretty much it. Yep. Any South African beers available in New Zealand? I have managed to get Windhoek, which I know is Namibian rather than South African, and also I managed to get Castle Lager. But you have to get them from a specific shop. You can't just go down to the normal liquor store. You have to go to a South African shop to get them. Go with a crafty Bavaria Holland. I need to write this down. Try to get a black label. Is it just called Black Label? Don't Ireland get like a huge line break in this game and almost go length of the field, but then get run down by somebody? Bavaria Holland. Rockshore Irish beer. I'm pretty sure I've never seen that here, but I can have a look. Didn't Tonga beat France in the pool game? They did. They did, and France went on to make the final. Ebisu beer. I'm showing some ignorance at many things tonight, including beer. New Zealand lager, bro. Seriously, you gonna do me like that? New Zealand lager. La Quoth? Bro, I'm sure we don't have that here. I'll write it down. O'Callaghan is always a psychopath. Vailima. Ah, we have had the Vailima. I know you can get Vailima here. You can definitely buy Vailima. Brains. I've still never tried Brains. And some guy very generously contacted me. Oh, must be a year ago. And said, "Bro, I've bought you some Brains. I'm going to send them to you." Those are the ones that never showed up. Never showed up. Must have been some guy at customs took my Brains. New Zealand lager's cheap. Okay, fair enough. I'm no connoisseur, so I'll take what I can get. Only get New Zealand lager if it's the last thing on the planet. If I can't find anything else on this list, I will get New Zealand lager. There we go. Ah, Duval, I think I've had before. We may have that here. Or I maybe had that in a bar in China because it was a Belgian bar. I'm not sure where I had it. Millions of South Africa can't be wrong. Black Label is just another vibe. How about switching it up? Captain Morgan, bro. Captain Morgan used to be my drink. Yeah, Big Will Brains as a beer in Wales. It used to be on the Welsh rugby jersey. I never used to know what it meant either. Black Label is not fit for human consumption. See, there's a debate on which beer is suitable here and which beer is not. Right. O'Driscoll's kick. Just into touch. Stella Artois. Big Will, let me know if you can find some brains. Somebody told me, I think it was on here, that when they first moved to the UK to work as a Kiwi, moved to the UK to work and ended up going to some like rural Welsh pub, and some like big Welsh guy just walks in and says to the barkeep like brains, and the Kiwi's like like who goes to a bar to ask for brains? Yeah, I guess if you're in Wales, that's just a normal thing. Waikato draft. Add it to the list. Stella. Stella, I think they sell everywhere. I'll have a look. If it's brewed here, I'm inclined not to buy it, to be honest. I prefer it if it's like actually imported. I feel like I'm drinking a fake version. My old man's homebrew will put some hair on your chest and strip the paint off your car. Ooh, who's that with the tight hammy? Another game I remember is when Japan beat South Africa. I think we watched that game already, eh? I think I even reviewed that game. Did I? Pretty sure. Stella's a good beer, but quite standard. Yeah. What I've learned about some interesting names on these streams is their beers with interesting names of beers like Brains and Long Dong. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's more. Luke, what is up? Our Stella in Australia is brewed in New Zealand, I think, says Ribsy. Ah, okay. I'm sure the Stella here is not properly imported. We're watching Ireland against Australia. As far as I'm aware, it's still 6-all because they haven't got the score on the screen. There's been a few missed penalties. Johnny Sexton slotted a droppy. And the YouTube clock's at 1 hour and 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So we've got about another 40 minutes to go. I was at this game, and yeah, it was definitely a good crowd. Oh, La Chouf. I'll put an H in there. Kilkenny's beer would be good with Irish rugby. I think you can get Kilkenny here. I think. I'm pretty sure you can get Kilkenny. Kilkenny and Guinness, I think, would you'd probably be able to get. Is Lion Lager? Are you talking Lion Red, like the New Zealand beer, or is that something else? Oh, Lion Lager is a South African thing. Ah, okay. Ethan, how are you, sir? I've just read Ribsy's comment. Oh, goodness me. Where's my mouse? Somewhere out there is a rugby punter. Blessed with both brains and a long dong. Of course, he definitely means brains, the Welsh beer, and long dong, the Taiwanese beer. Bro, you can't have everything. It's one or the other. Spates for Sunday's games. I can definitely get my hands on Spates, and Spates is pretty cheap. Maybe not New Zealand lager cheap, but it's relatively inexpensive. Oh, James Hall. Well, that was a silly penalty. Especially if you're the captain. Spates is totally drinkable. I rate it, says Ribsy. You need to get on that Rockshore Lager. Okay, I wrote that down. I'll have a look, man. Like I said, New Zealand's selection is pretty limited. Everywhere sells Heineken, Stella, New Zealand beers like Spades, Export Gold, Lion Red, New Zealand Lager. You can usually get Guinness everywhere. You can get Victoria Bitter everywhere. It's the standard Aussie beer you can get. Sexton has kicked that one. Take the long dog for sure. Oh, wow. Goodness gracious. Ah, Peroni. Yeah, isn't that... Wait, where's that from? Is that Italian or Spanish? What's the most beer you've downed in one session, for one sitting? No idea. That would have been when I was a lot younger. A lot younger. I used to drink more spirits because I figured you could drink spirits without having to go to the bathroom so much. Oh, bro, John. John. Evening. Long time no see, man. How are things going in New South Wales? I hope you're not locked down, or I hope you're still able to work and stuff. John, we're watching Ireland against Australia from 2011. The YouTube clock is at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 55 seconds. I was at this game. I don't know. Were you at this game, John? Did you? You didn't come across, did you? Funneled a 750 mil. Holy moly. Ah, Italy. Okay. San Miguel is Spanish. Work is just taking all your attention. Bro, me as well. My work at the moment is bloody horrendous. I was very looking forward to a couple of beers tonight and some rugby because the work is just non-stop. My boss is on my ass. What's that story? There's that story about the... Is it the Dutch boy who's like at the dike, like the dam, and it's leaking? And he's trying to like put a finger in it because there's just water coming out, and then he puts a finger in and more water comes out. Then he puts the other finger in, then more water comes out. Like, that's what I'm kind of like. My boss is like, "What are you doing about this?" I said, "Okay, I'll do that." "What are you doing about that?" "Okay, I'll do this." And then she said, "What are you doing about this?" "Okay." Yeah. Anyway, work sucks. Rugby is good. Beer is good. And no lol, I watched from Sydney. Okay. I'm sure you had a few drinks after this game. Drink purple guarana the next morning. Your dump turns green. What the hell? Who do you fancy in the Champions Cup considering home advantage in the quarterfinals is non-existent with no crowds? Still, man, Leinster seem to be the team to beat. Leinster seem to be the team to beat. Oh, Sexton's kick off the post. And was that O'Gara so close to getting the rebound? Oh my god. That would have been down the end I was sitting as well, so that's pretty brutal. Oh, Beal, that's madness. He's trying to chip and chase at himself from his own 22. Philip is at work. Philip, I work in a university here in Auckland. Essentially, it's like the service desk for all the IT, HR, property, finance queries. It's like first level support for everything. So we got a small team of people who look after all those things, and I have to help manage those people. But I've only got a limited number of people, and there's too much bloody work for them all to do. So I've been having to, yeah, basically get a grilling from my boss about what's the plan. Ugh. Plan is hire more people, but you can't hire more people because there's no money. Ribsy remembers yelling at his TV right now. I can imagine. Curtly Beale's thing just then was definitely quite yellable. You do security, nice. Is it AUT? It is not AUT. Do not work at AUT. But there's not many other universities in Auckland, so you probably know which one I work at. I just remember getting battered by massive people. Fair enough. I remember this game, me and my Aussie mate took a bus back to the city, which was included in our match ticket, and the bus was absolutely filled with Irish fans, and my mate is decked out in Wallabies gear from head to toe, and they are just giving him grief the whole time. Like friendly, but he's in no mood for it. He's livid. So, but yeah, I'm sure he thinks it's funny now. Maybe. Beale does some dumb stuff sometimes. That kick. That kick's the ultimate Beale, but I guess it could have paid off. It just seems like a pretty low percentage play given the field position you're in a Rugby World Cup. Have I missed Ferris manhandling Guinea? Bro, you have, and it was glorious. It was glorious. As soon as this stream started, somebody else pointed out, get ready for that Ferris tackle, and even told us the exact minute that it's going to happen. It's at 52 minutes, I think. 52 minutes something. That was brutal. Whoa, Cooper with the chicken wing offload, but no, it doesn't go to anybody. Ooh. Ireland have never won a knockout game in their whole history. This side their biggest underachievers. Yeah, it's 2015 they lose to Argentina, eh? That's probably the one. That's probably the most brutal one. Leinster look almost unbeatable, but Munster with Carberry, De Allende, and Snyman entering the fray will make this interesting. They signed some bloody good players, man. Snyman especially is phenomenal. Like De Allende is a big ball carrier, doesn't pass it as much as you'd like him to. He'll frustrate you, and that you'll just want him to pass it to that one open guy, and he'll take the tackle. But yeah, Snyman, he's like a 10 who's been born in the body of a giant, so he can't play 10. That's the walk of shame after this game with all your Wallabies kit on. Yeah, yeah. What's funny was, because I was staying with my parents and my brother was also there as well, and this guy was staying with us as well, so we're all staying together. And we get home from the game, had a few beers, and my brother is just like oblivious to the fact that he's really pissed off that he's come from Australia to watch his team at the World Cup and they've just been beaten by a team that, by the world rankings, like you guys mentioned, it was 2-6. They probably should have won. And my brother was just asking the stupidest question. Oh, so you lost? Like, how are you feeling, man? Like, what happened? You guys were supposed to win this game. You lost to Ireland. I don't think Ireland have ever beaten New Zealand, and my mate is just. Watch Scotland v Argentina 2011. Okay. I have to make a second list. One list for beers, one list for games to watch. Scotland, Argentina 2011. Your brother was low key trolling, right? Bro, he wasn't even doing it on purpose. He was just being thick. Like, he just kept putting his foot in his mouth and then in his mouth again. And my Aussie mate did a very good job of controlling his temper. It must have been the beers that kind of settled him down a bit. Couldn't believe how easy Wales rolled this Ireland team in the quarters. I don't remember what was the final score in that game. But yeah, it's definitely a good Ireland team as well. Oof. Man, how many times has Cooper run the ball in this game? He keeps trying to do his thing, but he's not having a lot of success. Sneyman's skill set, fly half, body lock, face Viking. That's pretty much him in a nutshell. Yeah. Oh, another knock on. Handling in this game's not been great. 22-10. Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Oh, Driscoll's got some blood. Andrew Trimble's coming on. Looking a lot younger, funnily enough. Watch Gloucester v Munster 2003. True, I've heard that one as a right classic, isn't it? It's got a name. Is it the Miracle Game? You're in an Irish bar watching Wales beat Ireland in the World Cup. You survived. Leinster Ulster 2019 Champions Cup is a great watch. Ooh, I wonder if I watched that. I probably did. Ian Smith has to be among the best commentators in the world. I can't tell if you're serious, if you're being sarcastic. Miracle match, right? It is the one I'm thinking of. I don't think I've seen it. Munster against Gloucester, but I've definitely heard of it. It's where the one that Munster needed to win by a certain amount, and it seemed almost impossible, right? Leinster Ulster 2019. I might have to go back and look at my own videos to see if I did a review of it. Because with the Champions Cup weekends, I would always like pick two games to watch or three, maybe three over the weekend or four, depending on how many games were on. But most of them, some of them I'd watch the highlights, some of them I'd watch the full game. I never got why Ian Smith, who's a former cricket player, got to be like a regular rugby commentator. All right. Grant sending through the super sticker. Thank you, sir. Hope works. Hope you enjoying getting paid to do this. There are very few rugby commentators I enjoy these days. Raoul Nugent is a nostalgic reason. It's nearly it. The Scottish guy, God, I always forget his name. Is it Walker? He was a classic. And from South Africa, I still enjoy Matt Pearce. I think he's pretty good. Oh, Roger's having a shot. Wait till the final. Oh man, O'Gara nailed his first kick. Eddie Butler. Rings a bell, maybe? Waiting for O'Connor's chase down tackle on. Oh, is it Bo? Right, I remember that in this match, there's a moment where it seems like Ireland are going to score a length of the field try for all money, but somebody gets run down. I don't remember who it was that did the chasing, who it was that did the running. O'Gara rated in New Zealand as a player and now as a coach. I think in New Zealand people used to give him a bit of stick as mainly only being a goal kicker, but definitely still highly regarded. Like, if you talk to a casual rugby fan at the time when he was playing, the only player they would probably know on the team would, or O'Gara would be one of the first ones they would know for sure. Oh, and the O'Connor chase down is because Cooper tried a stupid behind the back pass. Is that right? That would have happened down this end, which I wasn't sitting at, so I definitely wouldn't have seen the pass. I'll keep an eye out for it. Can't be too far away. What's funny is, like a day or two later, my mate who was at this game, the Aussie guy, and he's really pissed off at Bryce Lawrence, by the way, my Aussie mate, after this game. He's livid with the ref. Is he justified? I don't know, because maybe just the choke tackle was an unfamiliar thing for him. But we went to a. Was it a Nando's? For a meal? And Craig Joubert and another South African ref walked in. And we overheard them saying, I'll send Bryce a text to see if he wants to come down. And this is like seriously a good couple of days after this game. Maybe it's definitely within a week. My memory is shot. It's 9 years ago. But yeah, Joubert comes in with another South African ref. I forget which one. And they're talking about texting Bryce and somebody else. And my Aussie mate is like waiting. He's like, if Bryce comes, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna have a go at him. I'm like, bro, do it. But Bryce never showed up. Maybe he's too good for Nando's. I'd say 99% of South Africans have a pure hatred for Bryce Lawrence. So yeah, if my Australian friend had a go at him, he would have had South Africa on his side. But maybe not at this point, but shortly after. If anything goes wrong in rugby field, it's always Bryce Lawrence's fault. Still never forgiven Nigel Owens for letting New Zealand retake that kick in 2013. Yeah, Cruden got it the second time, eh? That was brutal. Don't worry, New Zealanders, I think, have maybe only just, or probably still not forgiven Wayne Barnes for missing some forward passes a long time ago against France. Man, Ireland are on the 5 metre line. This would have been right in front of where I was sitting. Ooh, knocked it on. I'm gonna have word with this ref. So I end up before abusing the ref at Nando's. Yeah, it's probably fortunate that Bryce didn't come. Maybe it was Bryce and Steve that they said they were gonna text. Oh, it was Joubert and Kaplan. I'm pretty sure. Joubert and Kaplan walked in because Joubert is a pretty distinctive figure. Yeah. Forgive Wayne Barnes after our loss to boxing in South Africa. I thought he was outstanding that day. Just to clarify, did you mention once before that you're partially Irish? My what is it? My grandmother, after she divorced my grandfather, this is on my mum's side. God, it's hard to explain family relationships in English, eh? Chinese has much more correct words for it. Anyway, she never married, but she had an Irish partner before I was even born. So the guy who was essentially my granddad, because my other, like, the divorced guy, he died when I was 3. So he was never really in the picture. But the guy who was my grandmother's partner, essentially my granddad, as a kid, you don't know, right? Yeah, he was Irish. He was from Kilkenny. So, yeah, the Irish connection is kind of there. Maybe not directly, but at least indirectly. Like, he would always, um, kind of influence us in wanting to support Ireland and whatnot. Tell us the old stories. People are showing some love for Nando's here, which is great. You can see why top rugby refs want to eat at Nando's. Welsh fans still haven't forgiven Alan Roland for a Sam Warburton tackle. Every country's got somebody, eh? That bloody ref that did that one game 15 years ago. Hate them. Yeah. Oh, that's alright, man. I was 3. What am I going to do? My grandma's partner was an awesome dude before he died. What was cool was when I got old enough to go and have beers with him. That was very cool. Craig Joubert would still be killed if he came to Scotland. Do you see what I mean? Every country has got a ref that they hate. And I should mention, we're up to O'Gara lining up a shot at goal. And he's nailed it. He has nailed it. Dare me to try and explain Chinese relationship words. Without putting it into any detail, honestly, it's a crappy feature of English. And if I say your cousin, you don't know if that's a boy or a girl, older or younger, mum's side or dad's side. It's just like a real, it could be bloody heaps of people. You can have heaps of cousins. But like in Chinese, cousin is like you definitely know it's my dad's side, older than me, and it's a guy. Like it's quite specific. It means you got to learn more words, but far out explaining relationships in English is sometimes a real pain in the ass. I'm not sure what other languages are like. If any of you guys speak any of the languages, look at the crowd. Yeah, man, the crowd was pumped because at this point you're thinking, "Damn, Ireland are going to win this." Australia haven't really looked like scoring a try, eh? Despite having the likes of Beale, O'Connor, Cooper, it's been pretty. It's been pretty well contained. Found the weird that they never tried filling arena out for big away rugby matches, considering they didn't only got 12,000 people. Ah, true. I never thought about that. Gotta try, Grant. Honestly, like there's some things that Chinese doesn't do that well, but the family relationships, aside from the fact you got to learn more words, at least it's clear. We're all singing in the field of Roy. Oh, really? At 3 Arena in Dublin, bro? That's awesome. What time would this have been in Dublin? Morning? You think Arabic does the same thing with family, with relationship words? Yeah, I think most languages do, but I could be mistaken. Jubir, I was with loads of family friends in their house, and the man of the house went to the kitchen with a minute left to get champagne spray everywhere and came back to us losing. Yeah, that game was pretty brutal. Should we watch that one? Like, just to see Joubert, like, gallop off the pitch. That's. What did he say? Did he say why he did that? Was he needed to use the bathroom? He gapped it, man. William Rugby question: have you met a few players? If you did, who was the coolest? In Dutch, they don't use cousin, but they use at least the male and female term, so at least it narrows it down. I actually did a video ages ago about which players I've encountered. Mark Ellis is one. I cleaned his car. I was at the supermarket last night, and he's not a rugby player, but I saw David Tour. He's a former boxer and heavyweight. I think he had a fight with Lennox Lewis for the title back in the 90s, 2000s, 2000s, 90s, maybe 90s. He lost. He lost to Lennox Lewis, but he had a shot to be heavyweight champion of the world for at least one of the belts. I saw him in the supermarket the other night. The guy is still big. He's not that tall. I'm a lot taller than him, but he's built like a truck. And he was like talking to like a fan in the aisle of the supermarket, and I needed to get by. So I kind of like meekly just excuse me, and then he was just so polite. He's like, "Oh, sorry, bro." Like really backed away, let me pass, and I just felt like saying, "No, no, no, I'm sorry." But anyway, it's nice to know he's polite, very polite. David Tour, yeah, man, he was in full Tour man gear. Tour man, he's got a gym down at Onehonga, which is not far from where I live. So, ribs is off. All right, man, take care. Drew Mitchell's just come on, so I'm sure it all works out fine for the Wallabies. Last 5 minutes of Glasgow v Ulster in 2015. Have to have a look. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. A couple of old fellas slugging it out. Probably will, depending on how much it costs. I don't watch a lot of boxing, but man, to see Mike Tyson fight again, I think that's probably going to be worth it. I've met Shane Warne, the cricketer, when I was in London. Was he nice? Helps if you drink the one which has still got beer in it. You should take up boxing for just the training. Don't know, man. My kids keep me busy. Maybe when my kids are a bit older. Ulster fans do know how to make a bit of noise, I'm sure. I bet Shane Cameron remembers David Tour, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe that was knocked out of him. Right, this is the closest the Wallabies have been all game. Is this where the length of the field run is going to come from? There's less than 5 minutes according to the commentator because we can't see the clock. And I know there's a length of the field play to come. We're at 1:36:40 on the clock. Hour 36 and 40 seconds. The Wallabies are literally like a meter out. They've not been this close all game. I can't take my eyes off because I know something's about to happen. Oh, that's going to be a scrum. So, met Brian Habana and Victor Matfield. The Bulls gave me a lot younger. That's awesome. He seemed nice, but you know what most famous people are around teenagers who are fans. Yeah, true. I work for Chris Martin, the ex-Black Cap. No way. What is he doing now? Has he got a business? I met Bardwell out for a jog in Dublin. He's a nice guy. That's cool. Yeah, when I did the video about players that I've like encountered, there were heaps of cool stories and a few kind of like, this guy's a real prick. But yeah, in the comments, that was really good. Leinster Scarlets 2017. I'll have a look. My cousin used to play for the Blues. He's playing in France now. Who's that? I saw Raymond Rule a few years ago in the telecom shop in Cape Town, struggling to understand the Cape Townian lady who was trying to help him. I completely lost. They were both speaking Afrikaans. Wow, true. He runs a local Foursquare. Where? I got a one-on-one training session with Henry Purgos. Oh, nice. That's cool. When I used to go to the gym years ago when I was like 21, well, let me just see if this happens first. But essentially, the guy who was the trainer there, he's now gone on to be a trainer, like a elite sports trainer for like Dan Carter. Oh, here's that pass, behind the back pass. There goes Tommy Bowe. Is he going to make it? Jock's running him down. Go, Jock. Good Tommy. Oh, he got him just. That's a hell of a tackle, bro. That's a game saver, even though they're still going to lose. That's brutal. But yeah, essentially the guy who used to be the just the normal gym trainer, I would go so early in the morning, he would always just essentially personally train me for free. Um, yeah, he's trained Bowden, Dan, Sonny Bill. Yeah, he's trained heaps of people. He went to America to increase his gym studies, and apparently that paid off because he knows all the next level training techniques. What a tackle, 100%. That would have been an epic try. Oh, they've just scored. That would have been right in front of me as well because I was sitting on that. Oh, no, it's a penalty. I was thinking, I don't remember that. But yeah, that would have been right in front of me because I was sitting on that left-hand side of those posts. Monster Biarritz 2006 Cup Final. Got a lot of suggestions. Toulouse v Leinster 2006. Man, how do you guys remember all these games from all these years ago? Maybe you guys went to the games because I went to this game. That's why I mostly remember the game, even though I can't remember Conor Murray getting a denied try. Bo was actually a great winger. He's one Irish player I think justified his praise. Yeah, good player for sure. Man, look at the crowd. Time is up. Australia got one more throw of the dice. To be honest, they've not looked like it all night. Those choke tackles have been brutal. And I think it's finishing with one. Ooh, no, it's a penalty. Accidentally bumped into Bucky's water. He was very apologetic, even though it was your fault. That's what I'm talking about with David Tua. Like, I walked in his way and he apologized to me. It's like, bro, no. That's it. That's going to be the game. What a win. Even Declan Kidney's got a smile on his face. Whew. Quinton McDonald. I know that name. That's awesome. And that's it. Game over. Whew. Commentators called it a big upset. I don't know that it was a big upset, but either way. Oh, Cardiff v Leicester 2008. True. That'll be a long game. I might have to pick that for a day when I've got nothing else on. Kicks it straight into touch. Yeah, Grant, you can't do that nowadays. You got to tap it first. Whew. Yeah. At this moment, I was going to find my Aussie mate who went to the game and was very angry. Very angry. Anyway, Grant, back to work for you. That's Grant Dexter. Grant Schwartz, I'm not actually sure if you're working or just chilling. But anyway, I'm going to head off. Another busy day at work tomorrow. Hopefully that start of semester nonsense can calm down soon. Come on, watch the 2003-2007 AB defeats. Didn't we already watch one of those? Anyway, you guys all take care. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, wherever you're at in it. Cheers, Big Woo. Fleshing, yes, it was close. Leo, take care, man. Dark Squawk, Turbo Warrior, Donovan, we just finished. The two Grants, Dean. Nice food takeaways. You guys all, all have a good one. And, I'll see you guys for the next one probably on Friday. Patrick, yep. Take care, David. See you all. Take care.